Ian, huge game at the weekend. A lot riding on it. How have preparations gone this week?
They've been good. Came in on Monday, gave the boys a bit of recovery, and those that didn't play trained. And then we had a really good session Tuesday. Off on Wednesday, and we were back in today, and the lads look really sharp. Sessions are probably a little bit shorter than they were earlier in the season, and we're just making sure that they're fresh and ready to go.
What sort of mood do you sense the players are in at the moment? Because they're in really good form. They've produced some excellent results of late. Do you sense there's a real desire to get the job done?
I'd say focused. I think we're really focused. I think we don't feel like we feel we played a good game against Chesterfield, but still we concede 2 goals. We saw areas that we want to get better at, and we don't kind of sleepwalk into this week going everything was perfect. I think we're all kind of hungry to see if we can improve again this weekend, and players are very focused for that.
I know you said after the game on last Saturday, that you didn't want there to sort of be a hangover. Don't get too lost in the euphoria. What was your message to the players on Monday when you had them back on the training ground again?
That we can be better. That we played well. We showed some brilliant characteristics as a team, but still on the pitch we can be better. So we kind of don't ever accept that we're complete. We have to look at, and we went back through the game and we saw some of the good bits we did, the bad bits, and where we want to improve for this weekend, and said, look, we go back to work. You know, the job is not close to being done, and we have a really important game now on Saturday.
Have you already formulated in your mind which team you're going to pick, or are you one of these who leaves it to the last minute?
Yeah, I don't decide early in the week because I like the players to show me everything in training, and you know, I tend to. We'll have the training tomorrow, and then I've got a long bus journey down to Torquay to consider everything, and probably by Friday night I have the final lineup and the plan in my head.
Have you? I mean, obviously a long trip down to Torquay tomorrow. Have you got any plans for the squad?
No, I think, you know, we tend to sometimes it's not a bad thing to be. I mean, we don't want to be on the bus so long, but then we use it to our advantage, and I think the players get to spend that little bit more time together, and we get down to the hotel and have a dinner together. So, you know, we do the usual thing that we do in terms of preparation, video, and physically preparing when we get down there.
I've got to ask you this question because it was a subject of debate, particularly after Chesterfield's goalkeeper went down injured. Will you be including a goalkeeper on the bench at the weekend?
Most likely not.
No. See, I agree with you. I agree that I think 5 subs is too little to have a goalkeeper on the bench because it limits your options.
And the problem is, Lee, is that we're only allowed 5, and they allow us to make one more extra one in extra time. Now, if we want any kind of form of tactical flexibility, we need to maybe have 5 options outfield, because I can make 3 in normal time, and then the 4th one might not suit what I want to do. And to give myself the best options, I think. But I'll be honest, I think it's absolutely Mickey Mouse that the league doesn't allow 7. It is like, it's a joke that. I mean, I'm sure if you asked Torquay, Hartlepool and Stockport, they want 7 so that they could include a goalkeeper. The fact that you could end up with an outfield player playing in goal, and I know they say we can choose, but
in such a big game as well.
Yeah,
in such a big game as well.
But it's mad that we really have to make that choice. I know last year they switched it to 7, and if you look at any of the other leagues, I mean, the EFL have had 7 subs with maybe more than 7. I think they had 9 and 5 can play. And
9 with COVID, yeah.
Yeah, and 5 can play. So I find it unusual that that's how it is, but I got to try to think about all the eventualities and take care of them. So, no, I think we'll go with 5 outfield.
Is that something, I mean, if you're still in this league next year, and let's hope that you're not, is that something that you would push to change with the league if you could?
I think we've pushed to change it at every team meeting. Some teams have requested that only 3 subs are allowed. How crazy is that?
What?
Yeah. Some teams have said 3. So that's how it is, you know. I would say 7 is just common sense. It's common sense, but I don't know why it's only 5. But okay, you know, it's a difficult decision then for a coach to make, and I actually understand. You know, James Rowe afterwards was frustrated by not the 7. I was also frustrated before the game at not being allowed 7 subs. it worked against them and for us. But I still don't like that as a decision. But nonetheless, I go with what I think is going to suit the team the best over 90 minutes and potentially 120.
Absolutely brilliant performance the last time you were down in Torquay. Are you expecting a kind of similar game?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they're going to... They've been successful with the way in which they played. They almost went up automatic, and I think Gary Johnson's very experienced, certainly at this level, on getting teams out and knowing what they need to do. So I don't see that they're going to adapt to us that much, and I think we'll go and try and play our game. So yeah, I suspect that it's not a dissimilar setup from both teams.
Obviously no away fans allowed, but a lot of fans back in Nottingham watching on TVs, possibly in pubs as well. What would your message to them, those fans staying behind in the city to watch?
Yeah, I mean, we know that they're with us. I mean, we kind of soaked up every bit that we could get at the end of the last game to carry that with us through the week, and we know they'll be watching, and hopefully we can do them proud.
Just a bit of bookkeeping on injuries. Have you got any injury concerns for the weekend?
No, I mean, Reevesy that you've just spoke to has obviously been rested a little bit more through the week, but he'll train tomorrow and all should be well again. Jim O'Brien trained full today, which was a big bonus for us, so we'll see how he responds to that, but he has a good chance for the weekend. And then other than that, everybody's in good shape.
How much would it mean to you, Ian, to lead the club to a National League playoff final after coming in only the back end of March?
Yeah, it'd be massive. Massive. I think when I came in, I know there was a lot of talk about a long-term vision, and that's correct. The club wants to have a long-term vision, but we never took our eyes off the short-term goals, and we've worked really hard to be here. So it would mean a lot, I think, for everybody in the club if we could, get a good result this weekend and progress to the final. But we know it's a tough challenge down there.
I'm just interested to know what you've done with the likes of Calvin Miller and Ruben Rodriguez, who have been such big players for you in recent weeks. What have you done to sort of get a tune out of them in such a pivotal part of the season?
I don't know. I put the same demands on everybody, and I think it's really them that has done it. Those guys have stepped up when they've had the opportunity, and they've took hold of that and shown their capabilities, and they've trained unbelievably well. I mean, Calvin Miller, for example, was not in the squad for a few weeks, but what I saw from him was a brilliant mentality on the training pitch, and that he put himself in a position where I felt I couldn't leave him out, and I think it's a good lesson that you're never out of the picture really, and I think it was more what they did than what I did, but I think they've been fantastic. They've forced their way into the team, and then they've performances have kept them there.
I think Carl Wootton was speaking this week about the team spirit at the club and the dressing room and the celebrations after the Chesterfield game, and he said that even the players who weren't in the team, were just as happy as those who had played a part that day. Does that kind of sum up the quality you've got in the dressing room in terms of their character? Yeah,
100%. Fantastic. I've said before, the 11 that play are one thing, and they often get the praise and the credit, and they're the ones that are seen on BT Sport and win the game. But actually the ones that have been off the pitch, and certainly the staff around and the players that haven't played, everybody's pushing, and everybody's pushing in the right direction. So the mentality for those that have been outside of the first 11 has been so strong, and you can't underestimate how important that is. So I think that really helps with the team spirit and the mentality of the squad.
And just finally from me, just away from the game at the weekend, Callum Roberts, he's undergone an operation, is that right?
Yeah.
And how's his progression going? And
good.
How long will? Yeah.
Yeah, he feels good. I think he's happy that we've kind of, got these opinions and managed to kind of hopefully source the issue. And I'm positive that if it moves the right way, hopefully in the pre-season we can start to see some progression with him.
Lovely. All right, thank you. Very best of luck for Saturday.
Thanks, Lee.
Steve?
Hi Ian, good to see you. I just mentioned, just because what you're talking about there with Lee, I spoke to James Rowe midweek last week before the game, and he said exactly the same thing about you, about not having the goalkeeper on the bench because of the numbers. There's that reason, and I did feel for a bit. Then, obviously, with what happened, it was pretty tough. But anyway, we move on. These things happen, don't they? So yeah, a massive game for you. I love the way you reacted when, obviously, the full time went and you kind of fist pumped the air. How nice was it that some fans, at least, were able to be there to enjoy it with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I said it before after the Weymouth game. The fans being in the crowd makes such a difference. Honestly, that it could have been a different game without them. It really could, because at 2-1 down, and they were slowing the game down a lot and killing the rhythm. And each time it did, I felt like the momentum picked up and the crowd got behind that momentum and it pushed us a little bit more. So yeah, it was really good to have them in, and we'd have liked even more in, but the 4,000 that were there gave an unbelievable account of themselves, that's for sure.
Of course, you won't have such an advantage in that sense this time.
No, I know, and of course their fans will try to do exactly the same for their team, and we're totally aware of that. We have to try to play our game, and hopefully that may subdue their crowd a little bit more, but I'm sure they'll get a push from that. So we understand that, and we'll have to do our best to combat that.
Nice one, mate. Good luck. Really hope it goes well.
Thank you. Thanks.
And finally, Jake.
Great stuff. Hi, Ian. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. Yourself?
Good stuff. Yeah, good. Thank you. Just a few follow-up questions from myself, more Nathan. Of course, you played Torquay United not that long ago. Of course, the 2-2 draw. What were some of the qualities and the standout characteristics from that team that you'd expect to come up against this time around?
I think they've got some good attacking players. They play forwards quite dynamically. Wingers go into pockets and overload, and yeah, they've got some quality in there. Regardless of which kind of connotations of forwards they play or wingers they play, it's a good squad that they've got, and well organised team. Gary Johnson knows what he's doing. He's been around this for a long while, and this is not his first time in this situation, and I'm sure his team will be they've had 2 weeks to prepare. I'm sure they're very well drilled and organised when we meet them.
Does that extra time to prepare, will that come as an advantage, or is it more with you that you've played a game since then? I mean, I guess there's arguments to be made for both, isn't there?
Yeah, if I had a choice, I'd play a game. So I'm happy that we played the game. So yeah, I mean, they got a break. Obviously, it totally depends what they did during the week as to if it's beneficial or not. For us, I was happy that we played. Normally, like before when I was in Scandinavia, we had international breaks and then we took a break then, and I always didn't like it when we had 2 weeks between the games when we were off on an international. So I would often put a game in either just before the break or straight after, just so that we didn't kind of lose the rhythm. So I'm happy that we played, but at the same time, every coach is different, I guess.
I was going to say, that's quite interesting. You put friendly games or a game of some kind in there in between international breaks. Was that a common place in Scandinavia, or was it just the odd team here and there that did it?
Yeah, maybe the odd team here and there. I guess it depends how many you had away on international duty. Yeah. But sometimes we had a few, sometimes we had a lot. But if we didn't have that many, I'd give them a weekend off and then come back and start with. Could just be an in-house game or a local team, but just to get the shirt on and play and kind of feel like we've not had too long a break. So yeah, I like to do that. But like I say, everybody's different.
I was going to say, I'm guessing that's something that the group of players that you did that with, they enjoyed that and saw the benefit of it.
Yeah, I guess. I couldn't tell you what the stats were after an international break when we played, but yeah, I think it started the week off well, and the players enjoyed to do that. So yeah, and like I say, in this situation, I'm happy that we had that game and that challenge at the weekend. It was great for us, and we came through it, and now we're prepared well for the next one.
And I remember you saying, of course, the key to this was hitting form at the right time for the playoffs, which of course you guys have done. Torquay come into this having drawn their last 4 in a row. How much can this good vein of form for you guys play into that?
Yeah, I mean, from our perspective, we feel like we're in good form, and not just results, but we think that performances have been good. I don't read too much into their form. They haven't lost many games for a long while. I think it was back 27th of March or something last time they lost a game. They'd drawn a few towards the end, but that's also the context of where they were at. They just missed out on going up automatic, and maybe everybody just dropped a bit. But I'm sure they'll have picked themselves back up for this game. I don't read into their form too much at all.
And of course, like one of the last time you guys met was the 2-2 draw down at Torquay, and that was we speak to Jake Reeves about it as well, the change in system, and there was a real boost in performance that day, and that was all. Would you agree that's almost kind of like the cornerstone, the catalyst for this good run that you've been on between then and the end of the season?
I think so. I think that was maybe the first game where I felt we started to play the way that we wanted to play, and I think that was the first time we had an actual week of training before the game, so we really got to go into it a little bit. And I thought for an hour in that game we were excellent, but they showed a lot of character to come back into it. They scored late on, so in the end it was a disappointing result for us, but performance-wise I thought it was good, and I do think we've progressed since then. So I'd like to think that we're playing better now than we were when we went there before.
For sure, and just finally from me, of course you've spoken there about a few moments ago about the short and the long term aims. If you don't get promoted this season, will it be a failure in your eyes, or?
Well, yeah. I mean, now we're here. That's our goal. So I suppose we'd have fallen short if we don't do it. I think everybody wants to. So yeah, it'll feel that way. But part of the bigger picture is to keep developing the team, our way of playing, and keep progressing game after game. So yeah, it will be hugely disappointed being in the situation that we're in if we don't make it up. But we're going to give it our best shot, and if we don't, we'll learn from it and we'll continue to progress.